And as the coronavirus COVID-19 takes its toll across the globe, News First had a message for everybody yesterday. And if I may read that out again. Today, we are all afraid and worried, and that concern is understandable. The world and all of us here in Sri Lanka are faced with an unprecedented challenge. Life as we know it has changed and is indeed changing. If you look around us, we will notice how nature is coming back. Around the world, how birds are singing again in cities. Animals that were not seen for decades are now being seen in areas that were crowded with people. In Sri Lanka, we constantly see the devastation caused to nature, most often by those with political connections. We see the impact on our wild elephants, the impact on our beautiful leopards. The state of our rivers, our lakes and streams, our most wonderful forests. Nothing is spared by those we have trusted to take care of our nation. Today, many of our rural villages are faced with the human-elephant conflict. An animal that we cohabitated with for thousands of years has today become one of our biggest enemies. Why? Because we took away its home, because we destroyed its habitat in the name of development. Is the message of COVID-19 getting through to people? Look at the statistics. Around the world, 343,021 updated in the last hour, 343,021 confirmed cases, 14,722 sadly deceased, 8,806 in a serious condition, and 97,344 recovered fully. 171 out of 195 countries have been affected. Contrast that up to this morning in Sri Lanka. 1,589 people were arrested for breaching the curfew, the lockdown curfew conditions, including 362 vehicles along with them. Is the message getting across to the people that this is a serious business? Let's find out. Councillors are usually the first line for the public to interact with government. And today we've got a member of the Colombo Municipal Council with us here, complete with pass to come through the curfew, has joined us this morning, and it's a pleasure to welcome and thank Miss Shamila Gonawala. Very good morning to you.
Good
Shamila.
morning to you, Faraz.
Thank you very much for taking the time and so on to come here in these during these challenging times. But you heard the statistics globally. 343,021 confirmed cases.
Yes.
And this morning we have this other statistic, which is 1,589 people in Sri Lanka arrested by the police for violating the curfew conditions. Isn't the message getting across?
Well, yes, it is. And I think as a country, as a government, we are well aware of the situation very much in advance, and we've taken all precautionary measures for the safety of the people. But then as people, as citizens, as society, whether we have taken this seriously despite the message, awareness and knowledge being given down by the government and the authorities, I think people are behaving very irresponsible. They knew this for a very long time when it broke off in China, and from the time the very first person was identified here, and of course she recovered, our health systems are good. But I still believe that our people have not taken this so serious. If you looked at if you saw at the food cities or the departmental stores where they were trying to get some food, that was panic buying. But our country has given, our government has given an assurance that we have fuel, we have food stuff enough for the next quarter. And well, awareness is gone down enough, but how much our people are taking this seriously is a very big concern.
Well, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has used his constitutionally given presidential powers to order all sorts of things and to get the matter under control, including the financial aspects of it, and of course being able to order the military involvement, because some things, and most people will agree that some of these things that the military have done could only have been done by the Triforces, and that was, like setting up of these camps and so on, like that.
Yes.
And only they could have done.
On the 26th of January, he set up the Presidential Commission for the task force to carry out this program on corona. And then thereafter, very timely, he closed down the schools, that is to stop spreading. And then also placing of sinks to wash and rinse their hands, and then starting of quarantine centers around the world, around the country. And the very first thing that as a government what they did was every telephone that you rang, you got a message in all 3 languages.
Yes.
That was awareness. Yeah. So despite doing all that, how responsibly have our citizens been behaving? We had to, the last thing that the government would have wanted was to impose curfew to keep people indoors.
But they had to do that.
They had to do it because the government tried their best to have the normalcy of people's day-to-day life, because they wanted people to carry on with their normal life. But it didn't work for us. People, not that they knew, not that they don't know the seriousness of it, but they've taken it very light. I think people have begun to believe that, it's the government who should curtail this, it's the government who should stop spreading. No, it doesn't happen that way. If it is a virus like AIDS, yes, HIV, but this is not like that. This spreads so fast, and our government doctors, our health officials, our expertise are trying their best. They are risking their lives to stop the curve going up. They want to flatten the curve.
They want to flatten the
curve, but whether the community is giving enough is a very big concern. And I think every parent, every responsible citizen should at least now take this very serious. You very clearly gave the statistics around the world. You very clearly mentioned the amount of people, the number of people that had been arrested during curfew time, during curfew. And even the vehicles that had been taken into custody by the police. And our police is doing a great job. Our doctors and the medical expertise are doing a great job. As a government, they're not going for political mileage, but they're doing their duty right. So all we can keep on pleading, requesting, asking from the public is, please behave more responsible. Don't let this go to where Italy is. Don't let this go to where UK, US or any other country is.
Thank you for sending us your messages. The messages are coming in thick and fast. And of course you can send us live messages by SMS, please. 0772 300 305. And we shall try and take them all. One of the first that I got this morning was, we are being told to wear a mask when going out, when the curfew is lifted. No one has them. Is the municipality or any other authority providing them? Let's ask the question. What about that, Ms. Gonawala?
Well, if the municipality can provide masks to the entire city population, I am not sure whether we could do it. There might be a limit that we can do, but
is it something that you all are looking at?
I guess the mayor is trying to. The mayoress is trying to do that. Even looking at the liquid for sanitizing.
Yes.
She's looking at it.
Right.
As a council, I must say we're doing a great job for us.
What is the great thing you're doing?
We found 8 infected patients from the city of Colombo, within the city of Colombo, right. four members of the same family.
Right.
And the World Health Organization believes in tracing and testing.
Right.
And where testing is concerned, sadly, the Colombo Municipal Council cannot do it, and the government wouldn't do, every institution do it. But tracing, yes. Now, one of these family members went to a school in Colombo. All 45 students in his classroom was asked to self-quarantine, including the teachers and the section head and everyone else around him. And even tracing down to the taxis that they've been traveling in, people whom they have been having close links with, and how the council gives them a call every morning to check whether the self-quarantine people are still sticking to it. The health officers visit them. The council has even taken measures to supply them with their food needs.
Yeah.
So council, the public health department, and I would like to thank the chief medical officer of health in the council. They're doing a great job. And unlike other parts of the world, our health system runs right down to the grassroots. If it is a council or even the smallest council or the local government authority has its chief medical officer, then they have their PHIs, then they have their midwives, they have the Grama Sevaka, the local police, the community leaders. So it's a string of these, it's a lot of connection. It's one big line running down, and the connection with the local resident is identified, has a close link, and that way we're tracking down everybody. They're having a close watch on everybody.
Thank you for that one. And now also, here we go. Rarely do we see those people who want to save the country the other times, meaning politicians, coming out and advising the people to stay indoors. Why is it? Why are the politicians not being in your face at the moment?
You mean why they're not doing it?
Yes, why aren't they coming out and talking? You don't know the trouble I've been having to get guests here.
Okay.
And especially we'd like people, because you know, people such as yourselves, you can travel for the national interest in a way, to talk, to come on through the media and so on. And lots of them don't answer the phones, and when they do, they say, "Oh no." But at other times, if this virus wasn't there and we'd made the same call, they'd be here like a shot, because there's something called elections.
Well, sadly, Faraz, whether it's our political culture or whether it's a politician, we try to make political mileage of every situation. At this moment, I would like to make a request from every politician in this country. Please don't try to make political mileage out of this. Don't try to gain petty political mileage. As a government, we are doing a wonderful job. Faraz, just go into the social media pages, the Facebook pages of the opposition politicians, and see if they have shared a single post about prevention or anything to do with corona. No, they have not. So what they want to say is, I mean, you can't summon the parliament, you can't, politicians, there is nothing that politicians can do at the moment.
That's true.
All that the politicians can do is, please stay indoors, don't play politics out of this, because country is facing very bad times. And all that the politicians can do is call your supporters, tell them to do indoors, and you can save a vote for yourself at the coming election. Other than that, there is no political involvement needed, because even the government has given the expertise to make decisions. The government has only taken steps to very swiftly implement decisions made by the medical experts. And yes, it is happening quite well. So criticizing, running down, trying to make political gain out of this is not what we should be doing at the moment.
But now that they're at home, and on the premise that they know what they're doing, they can forward stuff. They can, you know, that will help the people understand this.
Yes.
Can't they?
This is what I said. You look at their Facebook pages, you don't find a single thing being shared by them, unfortunately.
Another question. It says here, it asks here, we stocked food for 2 days. The government imposed curfew. How are we going to get food? Please air this. I have asked the question.
Yes. Now, this was my concern too. But even today, when we traveled, when you traveled this morning, you would have seen, still we see people on the roads.
Yeah.
I saw this man standing in a bus stand, not getting the message right to say that
Yes, I saw that fellow too.
Western province curfew is not lifted today, it's going to be lifted tomorrow morning.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow it will be lifted, and will be reimposed at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So the curfew in Colombo is still on. It's not off.
Yes. So government...
I hope that chap's still not standing at the... He may have
He
just
hardly would have realized.
Maybe he becomes the 1,590th person. You know, I don't know, but he was standing for the... I saw that. I saw that myself.
Actually, it's nothing to laugh about. It's a very sad situation that people do not understand the gravity of this, Faraz. And yes, the government would have loved to go on without curfew. As we spoke before, it is the irresponsibility of the people that has pushed the government to take these measures to impose curfew. And despite that, we still have people on the streets. That is how this 1,589 people were arrested by yesterday. But if you look at Nuwara, if you look at Anuradhapura farmers are going to do their normal life with the Yalakanna. So they're more disciplined than us. And also Nuwara, the vegetable farmers are working as usual. So they have discipline, they have known what it is, they're taking precautional measures and acting with responsibility.
Several questions asking about where they can get face masks.
I know personally that there is a very big shortage. I also know that a lot of people are producing these in their homes, in their little factories, and distributing it to the known people. But in pharmacies or shops, I actually wouldn't know how to answer that for
President
us.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa sent a message on Twitter and says that you know, one of the things he says is to keep your distance, social distancing, especially
three feet or 2 meters.
At least a meter away. And he also says that when the curfew is lifted, just one person from a household should be sent to do errands.
Yes.
Not the whole blessed family pitching up at the local market or whatever it is. And, you know, spare thought for this problem is very, very serious. Spare a thought to those people in the sort of informal economy. Spare a thought for those daily wage people. Spare thought to those tuk-tuks, the private taxis and so on. All of them are going through, like everybody else, going through a very, very tough time indeed. Of course, the flip side is that if you are at home and complying with the lockdown, the curfew instructions, you wouldn't need a mask, would you?
You don't. Only if you do go out that
yes,
you
so in the meantime,
this must be when they have to go back to work. They
that's
must
right.
be
But in the meantime, I'm sure the government is taking.
I'm sure we will have enough in the market by the time.
Yeah.
The supply chain has not stopped; it continues.
Right.
And also for the people living in Colombo, I want to give this message to them for us that
Please.
the council, with the leadership of her mayoress, has organized to get essential food items, especially vegetables and other food items, available in council lorries at the community centres, which will be parked outside. But please ensure that your entire family is not going there. Just one member from the family going there to get your essentials is more than enough.
Somebody's asking, whilst thanking us for Newsfirst for their coverage, which they describe as being excellent. Some local government institutions are very busy trying to help people get their day-to-day needs at a cost. Many people don't want handouts, but please do your best to get their needs 24/7 using all resources at your disposal. How about a hotline?
For the council.
Yes, so
that's a good suggestion. I can take it to the council,
yes,
and I can discuss
you all can
it
coordinate the different places where you can buy these things. And so
This is a message I gave just a few seconds ago, that the council lorries will be carrying essential goods and they will be parked where the council community centres are. And yes, you can buy it there tomorrow after 6 a.m., after the curfew is lifted.
This question's just come. Can food lorries come down roads?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the president very clearly announced that the supply chain has not stopped. Even the vegetables coming from Nuwara and other food items being transported to around the country has not come to a halt. It continues as usual.
But the message must get through. There was a group of people 2 nights ago who decided at 7 o'clock in Ratmalana at the railway ground there to gather around with what do you call those flashlights, you know, the spotlights, if you like, and they were having a cricket match way after the curfew had started.
Yes.
And this again is a drain on police resources, because they had to go and put a stop to it and send those fellows home. How much more, what more do you think needs to be done to drive the point home? Are these statistics not enough? In Italy, 650 plus people died in just one day, yesterday.
Faraz, the easiest thing that people say is lockdown. Why? We can't just do something that some other country is doing. Our country will take situational decisions. Our country will analyze how we are going, what we're doing, what best we can handle, and then make decisions with that base. But as I kept on repeating, Faraz, if the government had been doing their best, awareness is at its maximum, knowledge shared at its best, and the police is supporting, the military forces are supporting. And as you know, we've seen the military people, they made a lot of sacrifices to keep these quarantine centers going. They are the people who make the biggest sacrifice during this time, just as much as they did during the war. But if this, I have made a few calls to the police when I saw that children playing in parks in Kirlapana, you know, I don't want to mention the places, but I've given calls to the police to say there are 15, 20 children playing in parks. So whether it is 2 people or 3 people, what the doctors, the medical experts say is, don't come in contact with any other. Just be in isolation. Just live indoors. Don't even go to your next door neighbor. Just your family within your boundaries. That is how you can safeguard yourself. We continue every day on every news channel. We're talking about the deaths in Italy, in Iran, in UK, in US. These are the most developed countries with the best health systems. Sri Lanka is a developing country. There's very little that we can do to develop it further within this short time. But we have the experts who can manage a situation. So all that we can do is take this very seriously and listen to our medical experts and do your best to support another who is in need. Maybe they can't stock the food enough for the next few days, but tomorrow morning curfew will be lifted in the Western province and other parts of the country. It's been lifted this morning. So we don't have to continue with this curfew situation if we can discipline ourselves and take this very seriously.
Thank you, and thank you for the several questions. They're all saying that, but I like the one that said, particularly, that said that if you are a real patriot, you will take note of the seriousness of the situation and will not let your family and your country down by breaking the conditions. You must, it says here, you must honour the rules and regulations. And that's one of the problems, isn't it, Shamila, that in Sri Lanka people always say, oh, well, we can shape it up. It's an amazingly wonderful term. We can shape it up. We don't want to shape this up.
No, you can't.
We want to flatten it.
You can't. As you started off, you know, about nature.
Yeah.
Where have we gone back to? You go to the market today, can you buy any saffron? Can you buy any coriander? Now, we talk of quarantine because it came to us from the West or from medical experts abroad. But we've done this long before. I've done it as a child when I was brought up in the village. We went to a funeral and we came back. My mother would leave a bowl of water with lime and saffron in it, where we wash our hands, our face and our feet and come into the house, keeping those clothes outside. We would change outside and come into the house, and first thing is we would have a wash. So this is how clean we kept after going to a funeral. So this is the very same thing that we are being asked to do. And then whether it is indigenous medicine, where Ayurveda is concerned, if you see, the whole country has gone back to it. You're looking at that kaha.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it. We've gone back to it.
Yeah.
Every house is boiling a pot of coriander today. Every house has started using lime or lemon leaves, all that for what do you call it, for sanitation, to sanitize.
Yeah.
So these are the same values that we had for the last 2,500 years, and we left it behind. We went with the market economy, and these are the very things we have gone back to embrace. And I think nature is the best thing that we can live with, for us.
Indeed. The messages are coming thick and fast. Please arrange lorries to carry basic needs such as vegetables, fruits, rice, flour, dal, salmon down the various Marwathas with many houses, so that there will be no rush at supermarkets and shops. Please start from areas around Kotte Council. Probably because this person's from Kotte. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But, you know, it goes to start somewhere. That sounds like a good idea to me.
That's what I said. Colombo Municipal Council is starting it from tomorrow. And I'm sure all the other councils must be doing the same, because the councils, the medical authorities, the government doesn't want people to rush into one shop and, you know, back to back you stand in a queue. So this would be the ideal way to prevent people rushing into shops. And I'm sure it will be happening all over the country.
Good. What about this business about... well, somebody's saying here, please mention about the lack of face masks and surgical gloves.
We did talk about it.
Yes, we have done. Somebody else is saying that the fact that curfew was imposed should have put the fear of God into people, and they should have then realized this is serious business, not to go off and sort of have picnics on the beach or wherever else these people
We saw that happening.
Indeed.
People went on picnics, they were partying, they were playing on the streets, in parks.
Yeah.
So we invited
God bless him, some of the tourists who came here to enjoy the sun, the sand and the frolic that Sri Lanka offers. God bless them, they were attempting to surf. And
at the very beginning, when this broke out for us, I had doubts whether we as a country was on the right track, whether we were taking right measures. But by now, today...
Admittedly, though, there was a problem about those people who came back from Italy and going to quarantine.
Some felt that the government was too lenient on them, not taking right measures. I had my doubts too, but by now...
But this is not a punishment, is it?
It is not. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you I was proved wrong. We're doing the best. The expectations that we had on this president, the trust that we had on this president, he has lived up to it to make sure that every citizen is safe. He's taken the right measures, and I'm very thankful to him. But then we can't also forget that ours is the only country in the world that protested when the government was trying to put up quarantine centers for us. That is our community. So it's about time, at least now, think about it. Mothers, think of your child's security, safety. No politician can help you, no higher officer in the government can help you, no top brass in the army or the police can help you. It is only the medical expertise that can help you. You have to listen to their advice and guidance. There is nothing else that you can do. So it's a must that we follow. You look at social media, you look at TV, you listen to the radio, you ring somebody else's telephone. It tells you what measures you should be taking, what precautionary measures that is available. It is simply you're being given good holiday or leave off your job or whatever. Just follow those rules just to keep the entire country safe. We can't take it. Other countries can offer a lot of compensation. Their compensation runs into billions of dollars.
But
we can't afford.
Yes.
We can't afford that. Ours is a poor country. We're just trying to come up and do our best with the knowledge that our doctors, the medical staff
But even
has.
there, it's all about economies of scale, isn't it? In Britain, there are people who are complaining that the government proposal to give the self-employed compensation, or it's not compensation, but it's a sort of payment to get by, of £98 a week is not enough. It's way below the thing, but the average. But we have to bear in mind that Britain is a $2.6 trillion economy, and Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced a £350 billion package, which is, they can afford it, or, well, they can currently.
Yes.
But everywhere, the whole world over, everything is coming down. But that doesn't really help the people here who are, you know, the sort of the informal economy, the taxi drivers that took people, the labourers in Fort who pull those things.
Yes, porters.
The porters, and so on, who make their living thanks to this robust economy. So all of these people, let's spare a thought for all of them too, as much as we spare a thought for the people who have contracted the coronavirus and who are having a particularly tough time. But let's think of all these other people too. Everybody has got, and that's the state of our economy, everybody's got leases and all sorts of things, loans to repay. But particularly these people who depend on the daily wage, what can we do about them?
The government has offered some redress to the business community with regards to their loans and the
Yes,
interest
but what about
rates.
these people?
The people at the bottom, yes, that's a bit of a problem. And also I know our journalists like Sham Nuwan Ganevat, they've had meetings with the presidential secretary and then the secretary to the finance
I
ministry.
fear that we must be, I hope we're not going to have meeting after meeting.
No, we're not. No.
Meetings aren't going to help people pay their bills.
No, what they wanted was some redress for the smaller business people, for the credit card payments to be made, the minimum payment for the credit cards, little things like that, you know, to get time for people to pay
Yes,
them
they've
off.
done that, but I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be anything other than just saying this. These people in Fort, you know, the porters and so on, I doubt if they've got a credit card.
No, they probably don't.
Or they may do, I don't know, but I'm thinking that statistically that, you know, and I don't need AI to tell me this. Okay, what about some of these daily people? I've had 3 requests this morning alone for money.
This is a problem around the country.
Yes, I know that.
Yes.
But can the government, can the president not order, using his constitutional powers, he's got his presidential fund.
Okay.
Can't he send everybody, I don't know, a couple of thousand rupees, or, you know, 5,000 rupees?
You can identify the Samurdhi recipients,
Yeah.
and maybe help them.
Yeah.
But is that going to be successful? identifying the recipients of samurdhi and giving them
It is a start,
bag of dry rations.
It'll be a start, won't it?
Yes, it is good if it can be done. But I must tell you personally, Faraz, I am a politician myself. Today I don't want to call myself a politician. I like to sit here as a social activist because I can do better as a social activist now, I guess. But then I know certain...
Have you not been given nominations?
No, I didn't want to contest for us.
Okay. All right.
A few months ago, I was called by Honorable Dalasalha Peruman. He told me that I would be nominated.
Bandula will take great issue about the use of the word honourable, but you know, that's another story.
Yeah, that's Honorable Dalasalha Peruman. He's one of my favourite politicians.
Well, anyway.
But
So
I don't have the money to spend on elections.
Right.
So
okay.
I don't see
but
myself.
The thing is this, again and again, because all these questions are referring to that. What about the people who don't have? We had Dr. Harsha De Silva on the program last Thursday or Friday, where he said that people, you know, the level of savings is woefully inadequate. And so people just don't have the savings to rely on to tide them over. So what are they going to do?
Well,
you can't, you've locked them up and keep them at home. Okay,
yes.
That's one.
People expected this, or politicians, or certain groups expected this lockdown coming much earlier.
I've got a better idea.
They never thought of this then.
Have you got, can I just give you this idea? You know, these politicians spending a lot of money
on their election
campaign.
This is the time they
so
can
now,
help
why can't
their
they take
people.
that money
Yes.
and in their own areas distribute that money or distribute provisions to the needy in those areas? Why can't they do that?
It's beautiful if we can see that happening.
Will
it's
you,
wonderful if we
can
can
you promise
see
the
that.
people on television?
I'm not a candidate.
No, I know, but can you tell them that you will at least talk to some people, like your honourables, Talis or whoever, and talk to them
Faraz,
so that they can do it in their areas?
I know a lot of people who help the needy. Even last night, this gentleman got in touch with me to say he wants to help this particular vatta. He is going to fund it if I could go and distribute the goodies there. So there are people who help.
They're not goodies, they're essentials.
They are essentials, yes. So it is for every individual to have that heart to go and help another, to extend some kind of support to the others. So whether it is a politician or just a normal citizen or a professional, well, it is your intention that what matters for us. And politicians, as I told you, forget about distributing something at this time. At least share a message on your social media, which they are not doing at the moment.
But it all starts with us. It starts with abandoning our prejudices and embracing what we can achieve as a united nation. The coronavirus doesn't care what race you belong to. It doesn't care what religion you believe in. It only cares that you are a human being. But that is also our strength. We are one family, and together we can fight this and carry our nation forward. We can, and we must, and we will. Shamila Gonawala, thank you very much for being on the program. I trust that our people will be looked after, because there's nothing greater than that purpose in life. Thank you very much for watching Newsline Live. Take care. Keep your distance. Stay safe. God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.